Wanna learn more about the Atlas maps, the gold nuggets, or the hidden traps? This is a showcase of old and new. To half listen or fall asleep to with a blind watcher.
Greetings fellow exile, and welcome to part 3 of this Path of Exile 2 Atlas map tier list. Now, in this tier list we're going through maps that start with R all the way up to W and finish the whole tier list off. So we just head straight into it. If you want to know how I rate these maps and what my preferences are and so forth, you can see the intro to part 1 and part 2. But for the moment, let's just dive into it. So we start off strong with Ravine. And Ravine can have upsides and downsides, I guess. The layout is very good in the sense that it's super linear and it's quite spacious. But it's not spacious enough that you need to like go back and forth. You can just plow through enemies straight forward and you will reach the end boss and you're pretty much done. The backside of this, of course, is that you have to run through the entire map and you will get blocked if you don't kill the stuff that's in between you and the boss. So if you really just want to path through the Atlas fast, it's not a great option. The final boss is Tetzcatl again, and this is the Vaal construct, which I rate very high. I think it's a very cool boss, especially thematically, and it also has some cool mechanics. So Ravine for me is a very good map. I think it's a top tier for me. I'm often not very interested in just pathing straight through maps as fast as possible, and Ravine makes sure that I will kill pretty much all enemies in the map. I will find all the content like expeditions, abysses, etc. without any problem. For me, this is actually this is an S tier map for sure. I will put it in the S tier. As I mentioned in part 2 there, S tier, we don't rate it internally. All the S tier maps are just maps that I just love to see, and I will pretty much run these maps whenever I find them. Moving on to Razed Fields. Now, Razed Fields is this like Ogham kind of vibe. You have all of these maize, corn farms that you run through. The layout I found pretty bad. It's not terrible, but it could as well be an open map, but instead you have all of these like choke points and passages you have to go through between the different fields, stuff like that. But visually it's pretty cool, and it has a lot of variety with like the village elements, the farms, etc. Also, I really like the final boss, as I mentioned earlier, like these two witches, Ice and Fire, fighting off, and they they interrupt their fight in order to kill me, which makes me feel special, so that's great. All in all, Razed Fields is pretty decent. It looks cool. The layout is not the best, but the boss fight is cool. So I think it's a B tier map for me, and I think I will put it like somewhere like here, perhaps. Yeah, I think that's good. Perhaps above Frozen Falls, beneath Oasis seems quite good, B tier. Then we have Riverhold. So Riverhold is this also like Ogham City kind of vibe. It's a bit less interesting in the like color palette and contrast and stuff like that, but I still like to run it. The layout is decent. You never get stuck, but on the other hand, there's quite a lot of side passages, and it's not 100% obvious where you're going, I guess. The final boss is really, really cool. It's one of my favorite bosses from a thematic point and also from a mechanic point, and it's Thariel, the Umbral Wraith. I don't know if this is like a reference or a hint at Malthael from Diablo 3. It feels like it, like it's this like wraith kind of figure with two sickles that just slowly comes closer to you, and then she has kind of explosive moves on top of that. It leaves a really ominous feeling, and you really feel like this boss wants to take your soul, basically. And I really like that. So for me, Riverhold is quite up there. It's like an A tier map, and I'll say the boss fight. I really like the boss fight. I think I'll put it even above Cenotes, because I always like to fight that boss, and it's also quite difficult in terms of Atlas map bosses. So then we have Riverside. Riverside is a forest map, basically. There's not much to it. It rains, which is a downside, I think, aesthetically, but it's not a big deal. It's like other forest maps. There's a lot of obstacles everywhere. I like forest though. A lot of vegetation, a lot of stuff to look at. The final boss is Sekoa, the Head Crusher. And I think Steppe is like it's a good verification of the rule. Less is more sometimes. Like sometimes you just need a really big dude with a really big stick, and it works really well. And he's completely unhinged. He just like swings this thing, and is like also it's like the boss that has one-shot me the most times, both in campaign and in Atlas maps, because you kind of underestimate him. It's like a big mob basically. It's like a gorilla with a stick. What's he gonna do? And then he like swings his stick and bam, you're one shot. So for me, this I always love getting charged by this dude and see him swinging around and stuff like that. So for me, Riverside is also quite up there. Not as good as Riverhold. I think it's more of a like bottom tier A kind of map. Yeah, so then we're going to Rockpools. Rockpools is pretty cool from a visual standpoint. So you have the water, you have a lot of variation in the terrain, kind of. The layout is not the best. Enemy density is not the best, so that drags it down a bit. The final boss is really cool though. It's Brugor the Insatiable, which is this huge goblin-like giant pretty much, and he tries to stamp you with his to stomp you with his feet basically. He's trying to crush you beneath his feet. He's so fucking big, and I really like that boss fight, and it's the only map where we can find him. So I mean the layout and the other issues though is not making it not the best, so I think I will put it somewhere in the C tier or B tier. I mean no C tier. It's decent. Let's see. I'll put it probably here, above Decay. Seems fair. Then we go to Rugosa, or Rugosa. I don't know how to pronounce this. This is like the water cave, which houses the Siren boss, Sivora, Daughter of the Deep. Now layout-wise is pretty bad in my opinion. It's one of those caves. It's like Hidden Grotto, Mineshaft, and all of those that have a lot of side passages, and you're not completely sure where to go. And there's some backtracking involved often. Now the boss though is really cool. Very special boss. It has good aesthetics, not for any special reason, I promise. But yeah, it's this like siren. She switches between some kind of crazy sea monster thing, and then she tries to sing. I don't know what happens if you stay in the light area. I have no clue, but it's pretty cool just running around in a circle. In that way, also, it's kind of annoying mechanics-wise. It takes a while to take her down, and yeah, it's not the best. So for me, Rugosa is pretty far down. It's like a D tier with other caves. I think actually it's. Is it worse or better than Mineshaft though? I think it's actually worse than Mineshaft because the boss is just visually and thematically cool, but pretty annoying. Then we go on to Rupture. Now Rupture is this like swamp kind of map. There's no trees, but there's a lot of green and water everywhere, so it's pretty flat and it's not that much going on. But I still think it looks great. The layout is pretty good. It's fairly linear, so it's not too hard to find your way around. That also means it's long, of course, so it takes a while to get to the final boss. The boss here is also Sekua, which I also already mentioned for earlier, that this huge ape with a stone pillar as a stick works really well for me. So this also goes pretty high up. I would say this is probably on par with like something like Riverside. Yeah, they are pretty much in the same book for me. Actually, I think it's above because I think the layout is a little bit better, even though it's visually less interesting. Then we go into Rustbowl. So Rustbowl for me is like, it's a pretty much perfect middle of the ground map. Its layout is decent. It's not the worst. It's not the best. It's pretty cool. It's like this Martian landscape, pretty much. If you wouldn't have the cactuses and stuff around, you will always feel like you're on Mars hunting monsters. And the final boss is Gosen, the rebellious Rust Lord. He has some pretty cool voice lines. He has some pretty interesting attacks and stuff like that. But in the end of the day, he's also kind of mid for me. So this is like the mid of the mid of the mid. That means I will put him in the top of C tier here, not above Crypto. I think I'll put him somewhere here. Then we go to Sacred Reservoir. Now, this is one of the deadly maps. I think the node you look for to find this is the Temporal Sandstorm, I'm pretty sure. And then you have to fight and kill bosses in adjacent maps. You have to activate, I think it's 3 or something of those beacons, and then you will unlock the Sacred Reservoir. And the Sacred Reservoir is like this desert-themed maze with a lot of rooms. There's a lot of detail and stuff going on in this, and it's highly decorated, which I like. The final boss is Samir, the Blade Sovereign. And even though my build is generally pretty bad at killing enemies that fly around a lot and teleport and stuff, that also makes it more interesting. I think it's a really cool boss. And yeah, I think it's like every time I unlock it, and sometimes I even go out of my way to finish some extra maps in order to unlock it, I always have a good time in this map. So, is it better or worse than Derelict Mansion though? I actually think this is better. I think this is quite up there. I will put it perhaps... yeah, I think I'll put it here. Then we go to Sandspit. Sandspit is... I really like this map. It's a beach map, so you run along the seaside. And eventually when you're half across the map, pretty much you get to the boss. And you kill the boss, and if you want to, you can just continue on the other side of the boss and go down that side, and you will clear the entire map. So it's fairly linear, it's like a circle pattern. It looks very good. It's one of the prettier beach maps in my opinion. There's some green, some blue, the sand is cool. That's fine. And the boss is also pretty unhinged, it's the Sand Strider. So it's basically what happens if you combine a coral reef with a shark with some kind of demon bear or something. I don't know how they came up with that, but it's awesome. Mechanics wise, it's a bit annoying, like he hides under the sand so you can't hit him and you have to wait that out. But in general it's a really, really cool boss. This map is pretty much up there for me. It's one of my favorite water maps for sure. I think I will put Sandspit here. Above Snowdis, beneath Riverhold, seems fine. Moving on to Savannah. Savannah is a very open... sorry about that, a very open map. There's a lot of action. I feel like when I run Savannah, there is always something happening. I will never have to run more than a couple of meters before another pack of monsters rushes me, which is really good. It has a high efficiency. It's not hard to find league content like Expedition and stuff. In the end, we'll fight the Hyena Lord Kadron, which is he's actually kind of special to me. I think it was the first season 0.1 or 0.2, something like that, perhaps both. I had more trouble getting past the Hyena Lord than I had getting past Count Geonor. And this, I think this mainly has to do with, like, when I run spellcasters, I have just energy shield, I have no armor, and he does a lot of physical damage. You have these, like, arrows and spears falling down from above, dealing physical damage. You have a lot of minions coming at you. So I think it's a pretty cool boss. Savannah scores high for me. It's either high C or low A. I actually think it's... the layout and the action is so high, I think I'll put it here. A fair bit into the A tier. It's really good. Then we have Seepage. Now, Seepage is one of those Vaal areas. It reminds a lot of Augury, but it's a bit more like humid, I guess, and has more like yellowish, brownish colors to it. The layout is fairly annoying. It's a lot of tight squeezes, a lot of passageways. It's not completely obvious where you're going all the time. The final boss is the Fungal Behemoth, which I mentioned a couple of times earlier. I really like the boss. It fits better in this setting than in the Hive map, but it's not as good as in the DK map. In general, I don't rate this very high. I think it's annoying, and the boss is nothing special. So for me, this is actually an E tier map. And it's not the worst of the E tier maps, but I think I will put it somewhere, yeah, here probably. Then we have the Shrine Hideout. As for all other hideouts, I will just rank them as a plain C tier. There is really nothing to it. If you want a hideout and you're a new player, this is your first season playing Path of Exile 2, you want to do it to get the hideout. if you have already done that, you either ignore it, or if you need to path through it, you actually get pretty happy because they are really small and they are fast and quick to clear. So that's why I put them in C tier. They are good, but nothing special and nothing you care about really. Then we have another unique map, the Silent Cave. So the Silent Cave is interesting. Like I farm essences generally when I do the maps. I spec into that in the Atlas passive tree. So I think I might be biased, but I really like the Silent Cave. I like essence monsters in general. And there are also some interesting stuff here because the boss in the Silent Cave, if you bump up the boss difficulty through the Atlas passive tree and you get some nasty essences, you can actually get some really tricky bosses, and it can be a decent challenge. And it's always a new experience because the boss is random and the essences that will attach to the boss are random. So you never know what you will get in the end. I got some boss that had like these runes that get you stuck in the ground, and it had some dangerous mechanics on top of that, and that can be really hairy. So for me, Silent Cave is actually pretty nice. I like to do Silent Cave for the challenge pretty much. The rewards are so often. I haven't got any of this very good essences from it, but I'm pretty sure you can get them from it. So for me, Silent Cave is an A tier, and it's actually quite up there. Yeah, I think we'll put it somewhere here probably. No, ahead of Headland. Then we have Sinkhole. Now, Sinkhole is, from a visual standpoint and a design standpoint, it's one of the coolest maps in the game, in my opinion. There's a lot of things going on. You have like the caves with the waterfalls. You have like the Karui, like death structures, and they build boats and shit in there. You have these like soul caverns where you have all these eyes staring at you. So there's a lot going on. It's very interesting visually, but the layout is terrible. There's a lot of very narrow passages, a lot of tight corridors. It takes time to get through this map for sure. And it's also not completely obvious where you're going all the time. The final boss is Yama the White. Similar to the rest of the map theme, he is a very cool boss from a thematic and visual standpoint, and has some cool voice lines. But the mechanics of this boss is also pretty annoying, and you have to run around and wait, and you can't hit him all the time. And in the end, we don't even kill him. Is this the only boss in the Atlas map where we don't kill the final boss? So what are we even doing here from a lore perspective? We just come here to show this monkey's place or something like that? I don't know. But yeah, the visuals alone, and that is so interesting, makes it fun to run now and then. So we'll put it in C tier at least. I think it's like on the same level as... actually, I think I will put it here. Beneath Blooming Field. Then we have Sinking Spire, and this is the last tower, I'm pretty sure. This is the swamp version of the tower, which gives us Atlas vision when we complete it. The layout of Sinking Spire is... It's not good from an efficiency standpoint, but it's pretty cool. Like, it's very unique in that it's like this triangular shape, and you have these 3 floors that have traverse and stuff like that. The bad part about this is that you will often find the door before you finish the whole floor. It can be good if you just want to run through it fast, but it's bad if you like feel like you want to clear the entire area or find league content and stuff like that. So there's a lot of backtracking involved if that's the case. Now the aesthetics, they're decent. It's like this Vaal architecture again, not the best of the Vaal theme maps in my opinion. And the final boss is Stormgore the Guardian. It's one of these general like stone lizard statue guys with the mace. He breathes lightning, I'm pretty sure, in this version. Yeah, I mean, Sinking Spire is my least favorite of the tower maps for sure. But it's still a tower. I'm always happy to do it because I want that vision on the Atlas. So we'll put it... I'll probably put it here. It's still in the same like territory as the other tower maps. Then we move on to Slick. So Slick is this underground kind of almost, I don't know what it is. It's like there's water everywhere and you have these like platforms just above the water. The positive thing with the layout of this map is that it's the layout is very flat. There's no obstacles and it's consistent in how wide it is. So if you face enemies, you can just plow through them. You don't need to worry about things coming from different directions, stuff like that. there is no confusion where you should go in that case, but there are some side paths and dead ends that you have to backtrack and so forth. The final boss is Volric, the Infernal Engineer. It's decent. I like it more in the Mineshaft. I think he fits that setting more. In this setting, he feels more like an insert, pretty much. There's like this just circular platform. You have no... It doesn't fit the... What is he doing here? I don't know. Slick, for me, has a good layout. It's fun to run for that purpose. So it's somewhere around, like, Crypt, for example. They are pretty much in the same theme for me. I will put it here. Okay, then we go to Spiderwoods. Now, Spiderwood is one of my least favorite maps. Basically, it's the worst forest map for me. Not aesthetically, but at least layout-wise. Density of enemies is bad. There's sort of a lot of spiders. I feel like I'm lost. Like, basically, this is my worst nightmare in real life. I am lost in a dark forest. I don't know where to go, and there's spiders everywhere. And then in the end, you might think you get to at least get some revenge on all the spiders by killing the big spider queen or something, but no, it's just a fucking root. It's Rootgrasp, the Hateful Forest, which is one of the first Act 1 bosses. Like, this map doesn't do it for me. This is an F tier for me. It's not the worst F tier. I think it's somewhere here above Molten Vault, perhaps. But it is what it is. I don't like spiders. Then we go to Spring. Now, Spring is this like desert field map. There's water, there's sand, some vegetation. There's not much to it. The layout is pretty good. It's fairly linear, so I actually enjoy running this a lot. And the final boss is Manassa, the Serpent Queen again. One of the most boring bosses, but at the same time quick to just get her down and move on in the Atlas. So for that reason, this map is still decent. It looks okay. It has a good layout, and the boss is fairly easy to deal with. So I think it's a B tier. It's probably in the same like category as Grimhaven, Oasis, and those, so I will put it here next to Oasis. Then we have Steaming Springs, and this is very similar to the other Springs map. Otherwise, the layout is a bit worse, but it looks a bit better. Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I can say about it in comparison to Spring. We still have Manassa, the Serpent Queen, as the final boss, so they have the same boss pretty much. I will put this lower though, because I think the layout here is not worth the extra visual interest, so I will put it in the bottom of B tier here. Yes, then we have Steppe. Steppe is also one of those super open layouts where people, it's like Savannah and others where enemies just come from all kind of directions. You always have something to do. There's also a lot of action. I think this is, in my opinion, this is one of the more like difficult areas to enter like early in mapping. Like you can really get surrounded and stuck with enemies on all sides in this map if you're not careful. Visually it looks okay, nothing special really. The layout is good, as I mentioned. Enemy density is great. The boss is Ghost and Rebellious Rustler, which I mentioned earlier. It's like a very mid-tier boss. It's pretty cool. It's has pretty interesting mechanics, but nothing special. It's like a B-tier map for me. Let's see, I think I will put it... Yeah, I think I rate it somewhere like here, above Frozen Falls, beneath Razed Fields. Seems fair. Then we have the Stone Citadel, the final Citadel. The Stone Citadel for me is it's my second favorite Citadel, beneath Iron Citadel and Copper Citadel. The question is it A tier or S tier? I think it is S tier. Like Citadels in general, they're so rare, so that when you find them, you really want to do them. The map itself, it has not the best layout, but it's really cool aesthetically, and the boss mechanics. I mean, it's a Doriani, a Royal Thaumaturge. So basically Doriani and his huge robot at the end, which is a really cool boss fight, so I'll put this in S tier as well. Always want to do the Stone Citadel whenever it pops up in the fog. Have to immediately do it, get fragments for Arbiter of Ash, etc. Then we have Stronghold. So Stronghold is... I think the color palette of Stronghold is pretty boring. It looks pretty dull. It's not a lot happening. Like, I mean, visually, there's a lot of detail in the structural things and stuff. The layout is pretty bad, in my opinion. The layout's pretty bad. It doesn't look interesting. But the final boss is the Shackled Horror, which is basically the prisoner. It's hard to say if this is a good or bad boss. I mean, I think the boss is really, really cool in many ways, but at the same time, it's also annoying in many ways. In the end game, when you have a good build that can take him down fairly easily, it's a fun boss. But at least I don't know if it's just me being a spellcaster, but I think he's pretty annoying if you don't have that much damage to kill him fast. So yeah. Also, why do you like imprison a guy outside? It seems like a very bad place to put someone like this in just chains. Yeah, but whatever. Stronghold for me is a pretty bad map. It's gonna go in the D tier, and I think I'm gonna put it in the top of D tier. Since Prisoner is actually a very interesting boss in the late game, you actually have to do something, not just one-shot him, pretty much. Then we go to Sulphuric Caverns. Sulphuric Caverns is it's like all the other like cave maps, like Hidden Grotto, Rugosa, Mineshaft, Ice Cave, etc. But it has a really cool end boss fight, which I think brings it up. And it's also quite unique in its appearance. If you didn't have Abyssal Depths and Dark Domain, then there's nothing really that looks like these caves with all the green, and there's a lot of undead and stuff like that. So it's pretty neat. The final boss is the Bone Colossus and Lord of the Pit. So I don't know why, but while other maps have only the Lord of the Pit as the final boss, this actually has the original from Act 2, which is both Lord of the Pit and his huge, I don't know what it is, like a skeletal elephant or something. And I really like that. So for that reason, I will put it in the C tier. And I will put it, let's see, I think I'll put it above DK. Seems fair. Then we have Sump. So Sump is a forest map, or it's a swamp map, but it looks like a forest. It's visually very pleasing. Looks very good. There's a lot of water, a lot of vegetation, a lot of stuff going on. Otherwise, it's bridges. There's like small huts and stuff. So it's a really cool looking map. The layout is though pretty annoying. It's like your default forest layout, like half open with a lot of obstacles everywhere. The final boss is Brakka, the Withered Grove. I think this is the witch that is just going around on her broomstick, trying to show off, but then fails miserably. For me, with my build, it's extra annoying since she moves around a lot. So, but yeah, it looks so cool, and there's so much to look at that I think it's still pretty good, and I really like to run this map. I think I'll put it in B tier, and I will put it here, above Frozen Falls. Next up is Sun Temple. Sun Temple is one of those maps that have really good upsides and really bad downsides. It has, if we start with the bad stuff, it has the worst layout in the game, I think. If Augury didn't have the forced beacon activation in order to reach the boss, I think this would actually have a worse layout. And also, I might be biased because I run Chaos Inoculation almost every season, so this constant damage from the sun in the middle is extremely annoying because I can't regain Energy Shield while I'm in presence of it, and it has a quite wide area. But apart from that, those negatives, it is also one of the coolest maps thematically, I think. It's like this huge religious temple with the religious fanatics praying to some kind of sun god in the middle. It's like really cool from that standpoint. And the boss is also one of the coolest Atlas map bosses, I think, both from a mechanic standpoint and from a thematic standpoint. Some cool voice lines, some cool mechanics. You follow the like sun orbs flowing around, and he shoots like this ember fuselage machine gun at you. Yeah, so Sun Temple is... The problem is though, I never want to run it because the layout is so bad, and with the sun in the middle doing damage to my energy shield all the time. If I'm fair though, I think I should put it higher up because it's so cool from a visual standpoint and for the boss fight. So I will put it here up in C tier, top of C tier. Seems fair to me. Then we have Trenches. Trenches is one of my least favorite maps. It's an F tier. The visuals are not that much to look at. It's basically this uniform, just root walls and then mud you run around in. The layout is terrible. It's like a maze basically. It does have some good enemy density, though. It's not the biggest map, so you still fight a lot running through it. The final boss is Gorian, the Moving Earth, which is also the most boring version of it. In Bloodwood, for example, you fight the same boss, but he at least has some cool red shiny things on him. In this version, he's just a brown earthworm, basically. To me, Trenches is an F-tier map. I wonder how bad, though. It's like... I'm not sure if it's worse than Molten Vault. Yeah, I'm gonna put it here on the Spiderwood. Then we come to Untainted Paradise. Untainted Paradise, in my opinion, is an S-tier map. If you find an Untainted Paradise, you want to do it immediately, or you want to save it for later, like when you get to the higher levels in order to farm some XP. So in this season, for example, I just bookmarked 5 of these, and then I ran them all when I got to level 95 in order to get some good experience. It's also very cool from a lore perspective. Basically, we fight the beast, right? We fight corruption and we try to hunt it down. And so when we for once find one place in this horrible world called Rayclast that is not tainted, that is unharmed by corruption, we basically go there and we kill all the wildlife. I have no idea why we do that. I guess also it's from an educational standpoint, that's the most effective thing we can do as a character. So Untainted Paradise, it makes no sense, but in a fun way. It has some really cool... it's really cool to get this huge experience boost, so you can just farm experience when you find them. And I always do Untainted Paradise. I always have to it to do it. It's really cool, and also it's visually very, very nice looking map, even though the layout is very annoying. Following Untainted Paradise, we have Vaal City. Now, Vaal City for me is one of the best maps, the best normal map maybe in the game. What other normal maps we have? We have Asmerian Ranges in S, we have Cliffside, and we have Ravine. Vaal City, definitely an S tier map. There's so much going on in this map visually. There's so much color to it. A lot of different details. There's trees, there's houses, there are these fruit on the ground. There's a lot of things going on. The final boss is Viper Naputsi, which is one of the coolest bosses in the game, period. There's not that much to her. She's just a girl with a spear, but she does some crazy shit. You have these guards around. The whole setup is really epic. Vaal City for me, S tier, no question about it. Then we come to the Viridian Wildwood, which is another unique map. The Viridian Wildwood is... I always want to run this when I find it, and it's really cool from a visual standpoint. You have this, you can see the minimap, which is a cool idea, although perhaps a tiny bit annoying. But it's a super dark, high contrast forest where you run around and face monsters. You find these omen altars, you get some free omens, which is nice. I really like the Viridian Wildwood. The question is, where should I put it? I think I'll put it in A tier. I like it. No, I don't like it more than the Silent Cave, but I think it deserves to be higher than Moment of Zen. So I will put it here, next to the Silent Cave. I think they're pretty much equal. Moving on to the Wayward Isle. So the Wayward Isle is... it has a good layout. It's fairly straightforward. It has a nice width to it, and it's quite linear. In the end, we fight the Lord of the Pit again, which is not one of my favorite bosses, not the worst either. It has good enemy deaths, as mentioned, the good layout, but visually it's pretty boring. There's not that much to look at on this map. There's sand, there's water, and there's some bones laying around, and that's pretty much it. For me, this is a middle-of-the-road map for sure. I'm not sure if it's C or B tier, let's see. I think I'd rather run Wayward Isle, because it has a very good layout. I think I'll put it somewhere here, above Sinkhole. Next up, we have Wetlands. Wetlands, also very visually appealing map. A lot to look at, a lot of vegetation. This is the second map where we run around. We also run into the water and water streams in order to fight, which is really cool. This is mostly for the visuals. One of the prettiest maps in my opinion in the game. The layout is decent, it's not the worst. Enemy density is decent. The boss is the Hyena Lord. could be a weird insert into this kind of situation, but they actually did a really good job with having this like cave, and then you have these like sub caves from the sides where new hyenas pop up. So it's decent. This is one of my higher up maps. I think it's an it's either high B tier or low A tier. I think it's high A tier, low A tier for me. I'm gonna put it somewhere like here. Nah, actually it's the bottom of A tier. Next up we have Willow. Willow is a very open map again. It has good enemy density. It's like Savannah and Steppe in that regard that you never need to look for enemies. Basically, you have a lot of agency where to go and what to do. The boss in this map, I think it's this map where the boss is located in the middle of the map. So it's easy to find the boss as well, and it's never far away. The boss is Connor the Tormented, and this is like this crazy guy that you face in Act 1 after defeating Draven and the consort. He doesn't look like much at first, but he's actually quite challenging, I reckon. He does some huge damage with his slams and stuff like that. He shoots ghosts at you. It's a pretty cool boss, especially from a mechanics standpoint. For me, this is an A tier. It's up there with, I think it's on par with Savannah pretty much. I think it's not better though, so I'll put it here. And finally, we come to the final map of this tier list, which is Woodland. And as I previously mentioned, I'm a sucker for the forest maps. Woodland is stunning visually, like this, like autumn colors, the brownish orange leaves, the forest aesthetic in general. Now, as with the most other forest maps, the layout is not the best. A lot of obstacles, not completely straightforward where to go, but it's decent. The final boss sets are Murtag, the Engorged, and Colm, the Rancorous. And this is basically the Saw guide. It's the first boss in the game, right? That you kill before you can enter Clarefell. And it's a very simple boss, but the fact that there are two of those guys makes it pretty crazy and fun. I really like this boss fight as well. So Woodland for me is definitely also an A tier map. And I think I will put it... because it looks so cool, I will put it somewhere up here. Perhaps... I think I'll put it here. Seems good. Okay, so that is the final ranking for all the maps in Path of Exile 2 Atlas. Now, if I look at this just briefly, I think it looks mostly correct from my standpoint. Like, the problem is with, like in the E tier here, we have Confluence, Canyon, and Deserted. I feel like these three maps are here because they are very similar in my opinion. They are these desert maps. They have a very toned down color palette and contrast and stuff like that, similar to layout, etc. That these three maps I feel could be one map pretty much. I don't even when I look at them now, I'm not 100% sure what the differences are between them. But other than that, I feel like this tier list is pretty much accurate from where I want it to be. Now, I would love to hear what you have to say about the whole thing. If you feel like something is completely off, I would be interested in hearing about your opinion about that. And let us know in the comments. Share whatever is on your mind. And with that being said, thank you for following me on this tier list. Please give me a like and give the channel a subscribe if you like this content and would like to see more in the future. And have a great day. Bye.